Hello again, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something different again, like we've been doing something different every time that I come on here. So if you've seen in the background of my other videos, I got a lot of stuff going on, okay? There's a pile here, there's a pile here. This all needs a place to go. So I cleared out this spot right here, and I'm gonna try to build a workbench. I have a whole bunch of lumber here, and I have inspiration pictures from my parents' workbench that they had built by a contractor, which I'm not, in their barn. So hopefully by the end of this video we can have a nice spot right here to put some stuff, to have a bench top to work on things, and then I could start really organizing. This garage has come a long way. I'll try to put a picture in so that you can see not even really how it started. I think the first picture I have is after multiple times of rearranging it. So anyway, we're gonna get right to it. Today, building the workbench. I'm gonna start vacuuming. I have some chicken scratch notes that I'm gonna try to build this off of, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so we'll see how it turns out. Okay, I'm back again. I got carried away, like I usually do. My plan was to just vacuum out this area where the workbench is going to go. And then I looked up, and I saw there were a lot of cobwebs up in the ceiling. So my whole goal is to go to about here with the workbench, like the center of the roof line. So my plan was to vacuum right here. And I vacuumed basically half of the whole garage now. So that's been a little while, but anyway, we're back now, and I think we're ready to get started. So my plan with this is just going to be to make like a freestanding table that's really sturdy, and then I'm gonna tie it into a couple of these studs. By the way, if audio or camera looks different, I got a new microphone and I'm trying some new camera settings, and I'm not going to be able to tell until I'm editing if they're working well, so I hope they are. Well, let's look at my plan. Not much of one, but let's check it out anyway. So I think I got 7 of each of these. There's 2x4s and 2x6s mixed in there. They're all 12 foot. And here's my chicken scratch of what I wanted to do. So we're going to have my mini fridge is going to go tucked on the side. We'll make a little alcove for it, which will be over there. Bench top all the way across. Have a shelf somewhere halfway-ish between the floor and the bottom of the bench top. And basically we're just building a 2x4 ladder on the inside, and then I'll throw some legs underneath it and split the shelf wherever I see fit. So I have rough dimensions of what I want to do, but if it turns out to be slightly one way or the other, obviously I'll adjust accordingly. This is what I got for the bench top. It's 3/4 inch, like a press board. So, like I said, this is inspired off of the workbench that my parents have, and they have the same kind of thing as the top with some polyurethane on it, I think, epoxy, something like that. So I'm going to do something similar. It's lasted pretty well for them. They've had it for like 10 years or so. So I'm going to see if I can be carpenter Mitch and mechanic Mitch and mason Mitch so far, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. I found an old radial arm saw that just has this teeny tiny little table attachment on it. So we're going to see if I can hang a 12-foot 2x4 off the end of that and not have it tip over on me. So that's about all I got. I got a box of screws, I got a drill, and a prayer, I guess. I'm probably going to have just a ton of time lapse for the rest of this video, and I'll catch up with you when you can kind of start to see what's going on. I kind of just got in the zone. I never turned my camera on. But I made a lot of progress so far. So I have 11 of these 2x4s. They'll be the center pieces that stack up in between the long ones. These are my 2 long ones, so that's going to be close to the full length of the workbench. I don't know what measurement it is. And I'm cutting now the second one for the shelf on the cutting for this long piece now. I have all the slats that are going to go this way. These for the top and for the shelf, minus the fridge. And yeah, I have these 2 long ones cut. I'm going to get 2 of these cut. And then I think we can start putting these inner pieces together. So let's cut the last couple. So we got the top done. I didn't really care about the spacing too much of these in here. I did them 24 inches from one side, so there's a short one. But all this has to do is support the bench top. So it'll do. I gotta measure my thickness of my bench top, because that's gonna sit on here, and then I have 2x6s that's going to go around the perimeter of the whole thing, which will add a little bit of thickness and structure. And it will be, the 2x6s will be up a touch, so they'll be the same level as this with that on top of it, if that makes sense. I'll try to see if I can show you a little better. Man, it's hot today. Summer decided to show up right after, winter didn't even close the door yet, and it's already summer now. I'm not complaining, but I'm kind of complaining. Okay, so it's been a while since I checked in. I got the tops cut, measured everything. I bought a used table saw, and it's kind of a turd. I don't know, the blade shot, maybe that would help a lot, but the guard walks around and stuff, and I forgot to lock it once and stuff. But anyway, so I ended up calculating after the fact that these are actually one full sheet of that stuff cut in half. So this long top was one sheet plus 16 inches, which being that it was cut in half, this bottom sheet, for this will be the lower shelf, was actually going to be the exact perfect length with one cut, which I didn't necessarily need because I'm gonna have a support right in the middle. So I couldn't, there's no way I could get one whole sheet in there once it's already built, unless I like knock the side out or something. So I had to cut it, but I didn't want to. So this would have been the perfect size. I had to at least cut it in half so I could get it in through the shelf and then down. But I'm thinking my support is going to come up somewhere in here. So out of my scraps that I had after I cut this piece down, you saw in my time lapse, I cut this square so that I could have a nice, really flat top with few seams in it. And then this is going to be the shelf, so who really cares? So these are a bunch of little miscellaneous pieces that I had left. I needed 3 that I ripped, and then I cut this little tiny one, and I just moved the stud over so that I could have support on that piece. Since these are all pretty stiff, well, you know, I'm going to have some scrap 2x4s. I could put some extras under all these, actually. So I'll have a little structure under these, too, because I'm thinking I'm probably going to hide stuff back in behind that shelf, too. But I mean, I don't know. Oh, you can see that pretty good with the shadow. That's not a lot of force. I don't know. I'm going to put some extras under there, I guess. Okay, I think this is probably the best I'm gonna get it. I put a bunch of 2x4s flat. So I caught the edge of this one, this whole tiny piece, the edge of that one too, and then the far edge of that one. So I caught something on all of them. If I had one more scrap, I could put it in here, but that's gonna be way better than it was. So I was trying to figure out how I should go about the supports, because I don't want to put them on the end. You know, when I build the legs going down, I'm gonna have to attach them to the outside because I didn't recess them into here. So I don't want them to go on the end because that's gonna mess up my distance from the wall. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do just 2x6s as my legs on the front. I'm tired. It's been hot. I need some water. I have some, it's over there. So I reconsulted my original drawing, and what I had is a 2x6 running down the whole piece, and then my legs would be touching underneath it. I think I'm gonna run it all the way up. Alright, I'm back. I had to go do some nonsense. So the next thing I got to do is gonna be set the height of my table. But to do, like I said, with the making the border piece that's going to go all the way around this level, to be consistent, I'm going to flip this all over and try to find the flattest spot, wherever that might be. This floor is, there's nothing straight about it. Nope, that's not flat at all. Okay, I'm going to search for a flat-ish piece of the floor. Hello again. It's a new day. Got an earlier start on today. I didn't do much last night after I filmed that last clip. I was trying to be nice because it was about 9 o'clock at night on a weekday. So I didn't want to, make some noise with the saw. I'm just trying to be a nice guy. I have neighbors all around. So my reward for that, after editing the video that you guys are about to see till 2 a.m. last night, I was woken up at 7:30 this morning by wood chipper and chainsaws from someone having trees cut down the street. It's funny how that works, isn't it? Yeah, I tried. Anyway, so we're back on the Workbench project. I left it right where you saw last night. I have my corners weighted down, trying to even this guy out a little bit. Next thing I'm going to be doing is cutting the legs. That'll be my full height. I was thinking 37 inches tall. I'm going to measure out the spots that I want to put the legs so that I can keep my space for that fridge to mount on one of these ends. I think it's going to go probably over here. And then I'll do 2 legs each side, 3 rows, so 6 total. Then I'll have a table set with this now, and then I think I can maybe flip it up on its side so I can measure, and then I'll figure out how I can put the shelf in there somehow and hold it all up while I'm doing that. Because I'm a one-man band. It's just me. kind of banking on the fact that these tolerances are all close enough and all the legs are kind of wobbly enough that I can drop this down in there in just the way that it's sitting now. And also have, you know, enough tension to hold it in here. Let's see about that. So I got the shelf held in place. It's a little looser between these two legs than it is on these two, so I didn't need to hold it over here. I just have my top material clamped in there, so I have my little scribes even with that is all I'm doing there. But this, oh, I gotta adjust that a little bit. Yeah, I'll come back and get that. Anyway, so I didn't account for the 2x6s to go on the outside of this, which is fine, because it's not necessarily a pretty part of it. Except I went a little bit long over here, which is not super ideal, except that fridge is 18 inches wide, and plus the 2x6, it's like 19 and a half over here now. So that'll be just fine. I'll have that sticking out a little bit. If I really wanted to, I could come back in and plane it down, knock that edge off a little bit, but I don't really think I care that much. So I have this side pretty much as even as I'm gonna get. I'm gonna have no fascia on this side, which isn't ideal, but then I'd be way off on this side. I'd be another 1.5 inches over this way, so whatever. So I gotta level this side out a little bit more. I'm gonna level the shelf to the bottom of the top and make sure I'm on the right angle, because I'm on a little bit of a tilt this way, I think. It's going pretty good so far. I'm pretty proud of what I got going on here. I think it's gonna look really nice when I'm all done with it. It's been a minute. I decided to sand down this a little bit more with a flap wheel, which was a terrible idea because I am now a snowman of sawdust and it's everywhere. I didn't have a fan on to kick it out the door. Anyway, I got the 2x4s all set up in here, and I think they're, well, they're as level as they're gonna get. That's as level as I care to make them. So I think now I'm gonna take off whatever's gonna fall out. I'm going to flip this over so it'll be right side up in its final orientation. And then I just have to make the few like fascia boards, the 2x6s, for 2 in the front and 2 in the back, just to make up the space, because why not? So then it'll all be rectangular and it'll look like the top with that double piece there. But yeah, this is all secured in place, so we're gonna flip it over now and see how it looks. So this is almost its final form. I put the top back on. I think I might have to flip this end for that end because they fit really, really tight over there. I don't know what I was thinking. I used the junky corner of this 2x6. So I think I'm going to try to keep the screw holes in the same spot and flip it over, because this is a nice side on the bottom. Move these ugly pieces to the back of the shelf where they won't really get seen pretty much at all. I cut the rest of them, put my shelf in so I can line up my height for these 2x6s. And other than that, we're almost done. Now we can find out just how heavy this thing is. Got her slid over against the wall. Not as bad as I thought. Yeah, I'm gonna get the fridge in there now, so it'll kind of look like I really got something accomplished. Okay, there's a little trimming that should fit now. Alright, I think we're finally done. I had to trim a little bit for the fridge to fit in there. I don't really have a good angle because I have so much stuff that I'd have to move. I've been doing some more vacuuming. I'm trying to get all the cobwebs out of the ceiling like I was in the beginning of the video. Just looks nicer in here having it all cleaned up. But anyway, this is as final of a product as I'm going to get on this video. The structure of the wall back here is the same kind of thing that I just built. There's a 2x6 down underneath, and then there's a 2x4. So the 2x6 is keeping me away from the wall that far. So I don't have one of those little oscillating tools, but I'm going to get that, hollow out behind these 3 spots for each consecutive leg, and then I'll be able to butt it right up against the wall. And I have some, here, let's go on a trip. This is left over in the ceiling when I moved in here. It's like rounded up here and then square on the bottom. So I think that'd look nice along the back edge as a border, just to keep stuff from rolling down there. I am gonna clean up some more. I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna listen to some music and look at this thing. I'm sitting up here because why not? Pretty nice. Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, this is pretty stable. I'm pretty proud of that. Successful day in the garage. So now I can hopefully work on dwindling this pile of stuff, get what I want to keep in here, throw the rest away, and this whole pile too. But if you step back and look, I mean, without those 2 piles of stuff, I mean, the pile is the size of the motorcycle, so just imagine that. But that and that gone, I'll be pretty set up in here. This is about probably the 12th time I've cleaned this place out and rearranged and reorganized. But coming from what it was, I'm pretty damn proud of the work and the time that I've put into this, and it's all been just me. It's good to sit back and reflect and know that you truly did something yourself. It's fulfilling. I like it. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'll be back for a lot more. I'm just getting some miscellaneous stuff together. I gotta do a lot of maintenance first. I know it's probably boring. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'd really appreciate any and all of that. I'll be back soon with more stuff. Take care. See you later. Bye-bye.